Welcome back to another episode of Sisters in Christ. Today we're going to be talking about a very important topic, and a topic that's always on our mind, especially as young women, and that's the topic of dating. So before we get into the topic, we have to answer one really important question, which is, when is the right time to start dating, or how do I know I'm ready? Usually when I'm giving a talk or I'm talking with a youth group, and they always ask me, what age can I start dating? Like, I want you to give me a specific number as to when I can start. But the trick is, it's not really about a number. What do you guys think it's about?
A few things. One of the biggest things that I learned is, until you feel complete and whole being single, you're not ready to date, because otherwise you're looking to date for the wrong reasons, maybe to complete you or for somebody to really fill some gaps in that only God can fill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think loving yourself first also is essential, and to have your own hobbies, to have your own friends, to have your own career, all that kind of sets a stage for who you are, and to be confident in who you are. And just like you said, like, if you're looking to fulfill it for, that you're a little bit lonely or whatnot of that sort, that's trouble.
I think it's like when someone asks that, it's kind of like a trick question, so that you can go back and say, like, well, the church told me at the age of 13 I can start dating, so like I've hit that mark and now it's like a new milestone. So I definitely think when we get asked the question of age, it's not about age. It's definitely like each person is different when they're going to be ready. And I feel like also when you're ready is based on different experiences that you've had, how your home life is set up, right? So like, if I know, like we always say, like, if there's like an absent father, then like you might be seeking love from and somewhere else. So it's kind of exactly what Monica was saying, of just when you're whole, when there is like other people advising you and it's the right person, and it's not just for like social media or everyone else is dating or things like that. So I think you have to be very well-rounded to actually start.
Yeah, I think many times we say it's like 50-50. But it's not. You have to be 100, and you have to know where you are, know where you're headed, know what you want, so that you don't make the wrong decisions, because relationships are not easy.
Yeah, oh, that's definitely true. The way I like to look at it too is, why are we dating, right? Which is actually my next question, but it's really for the purpose of marriage. And marriage has to be kind of in the near future. Like, I've already figured out what I'm doing with my life, like all the things you said, my hobbies, that I love myself, I love God, because God is going to be the center of any good relationship. So unless I have those two loves first, his love and self-love, I can't go on to find, that true love that everybody's searching for. So that leads me to my next question, which is, what's the purpose of dating? We know that it's for the purpose of finding a partner for life, for marriage. But what else is it about? Is it, what the world maybe portrayed as? Is it just for fun, or because everybody else is doing it, or it's the cool thing to do? What do you guys think?
I definitely think the world portrays it as this like fun experience that you get to learn so much about yourself, and you get to meet new people and just experience different things. But I think at the end of the day, we always have to consider, one, is it for marriage? Because if I'm 15 and I'm dating, I'm not ready to get married. Like, I'm 25 right now, and I don't think I'm getting ready to get married. So like, I wouldn't date at that point, right, if that's what it's for. But also, am I going to get hurt after each relationship? Is something goes back to your self-love of, do I love myself enough to go through this struggle, or is this not worth it just because my friends are doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, dating has to be intentional with a focus. And as we said, the focus is for marriage and for the purpose of like enhancing his kingdom. So it comes down to, if you feel this person, it's building basically an eternity on earth.
That's a really great point, Mary. So there's more on that right after we come back from the break. Welcome back, everybody. So going back to one of Mary's points from the beginning about how you should have your own career, idea of the things you like before you start looking for a partner and start dating. I want us to look at in the beginning of Genesis, when God creates the whole world and he has the animals, the garden, then he brings Adam in, and then he gives him a job first. He says, look after the garden and tend to the animals and everything that's in it. So we see that he has this responsibility, this role, this job before Eve is even brought into the picture, which is a really great example for us to, kind of figure out our life first. What am I responsible over anything yet? Am I mature enough? Now, can I have someone else who comes into the picture and, like God said, for Eve to be a helper that's comparable to him, somebody to help him out so he's not alone. He said it's not good for a man to be alone. So that's a great point we can take away from that story.
Yeah, I don't think many of us actually look back to Genesis and think about that at all. That's a great point that I've personally never thought of that Adam had all these responsibilities before he was ready for Eve. So that's an excellent point that I personally never looked at.
Yeah. And I wish it was that easy where God just brings you somebody and he's like, all right, here's the person.
You've done your job, here you go.
Yeah, but now we're, in this world, there's so many people out there that can be a good match for us or a bad match. How can we tell a difference? How can we date in the right way to find that partner for life?
I think we're blessed with many resources. We aren't alone at all. We have our fathers of confession, we have servants, we have our parents, we have many people that have done this before us. And I think looking for guidance and wisdom in relationships is wise of the person. I'm not the wisest person out there, so I know that when it comes to relationships, I need to seek guidance and wisdom. And I just think that we just have so many resources for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great point that, our parents should be on board, our father of confession should know and kind of give us his blessing. Because if we're, in our teenage years and we think we're ready to date, we're going to probably be sneaking around behind our parents' back, not telling anybody. And that's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is there's no shame involved, right? You're doing it with your parents knowing where you are, who you're seeing. And you're really just trying to answer that question, is this person right for me or not? And if the answer is no, then you leave the relationship without any regrets. We're, guarding our purity, which is a big thing, especially these days. You pretty much want to leave the person better than you found them, not to make them do anything against their will, anything they'll regret, but really guarding each other's purity and making Christ the center of the relationship at all times.
What do you guys think about, when people say I don't know what I want until I've tried different things. So I don't know that I like someone who's generous until I've been with someone who's stingy. I feel I hear that a lot from people where it's just through dating I'll find out what kind of man I want after all these experiences. How would you answer someone who says that?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like God is not an author of confusion. And so many times I feel like something pleases us in a person makes us happy or something. But happiness and all that, it's like a fleeting emotion. And for us to invest more on the holiness aspect of it, because a relationship, yeah, it should make you happy, but that's not the core basis of it. It should actually make you holy. So I feel like in the end, we should really know that our God, relationships, he created relationships. He created for us to have that compatibility, and he doesn't want to confuse us. And he wants us to wait on the right person that he has prepared for us.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a sign of immaturity. I think that at a certain age, we have a checklist. And we say, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. And as you get more mature and more spiritually mature, especially, you start realizing what is important versus, I need to discover what I want. We should all essentially want the same thing if we're doing this for the right reason. We should want a godly person, someone that will lead us to the kingdom, and not just someone that's funny or will do things for me. And, that checklist that every girl has at a certain point in their lives. So I think that's a sign. And I hear that all the time as well. And I think that is a sign of spiritual immaturity in regards to the subject.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for us not to compromise certain values. If something really means a lot to us, or if that's our certain love language, if we want that acts of service and this person lacks in it, I mean, clearly this person's not going to feel like your tank. So I think it really comes down to like knowing your love language and making sure the person's going to be able to fulfill it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way I like to look at it too is understanding that the purpose of marriage is salvation, like you said, to become holy. So it's not just about we're here to have fun, or I want somebody with all of, my checklist can also look a little bit skewed, right? There's like a major things that are going to contribute to the holiness, to us going to reaching salvation together. And there are some minor things that might be fleeting, whether it's like, looks, wealth, or even our health. We don't know that's always going to be there. You want somebody who's loyal, who's committed. Even when you're, on your bed sick, they're going to be there for you, for your children, to help you build that home. Just having somebody who's good looking isn't going to solve that for you, right? You want somebody to serve you and really be there for you. And if you look at compatibility, I've done this training before. It's called Prepare and Enrich, and it looks at 9 different categories where couples can be, very compatible on or not so compatible. I'm just going to read them. So the first one is communication. Then there's conflict resolution, the partner's style and habits, financial management, leisure activities, relationship roles, sexual expectations, family and friends, and then spiritual beliefs. So you guys have to see eye to eye and be on the same page on all these categories. Are we communicating the same? Are we able to resolve conflict together? Do we see our friends and family being involved in our lives the same way? And the more you're compatible in these, the easier it's going to be, with obviously the bottom goal being reaching the kingdom of heaven together.
Right. I mean, I also think it's good to keep in mind, like, there's no perfect person like out there. So if we have like this dream guy that's gonna like fulfill everything, I mean, there's things we have to we should rethink that. So that's why you're not gonna find that perfect person, but there will be that person that will fulfill the core values of what you wish to have.
Yeah, and not every good person is good for you. My mom always said that. She said, just because the person's good doesn't mean they're good for you.
Right.
Yeah, and that's not, going back to your question about, dating. I don't know what I want unless I date. I just want to make a comment that that's not to take away from relationships that don't work out. I think that those are, we just have to draw a line between the two. I think that if you're dating with the intent of marriage, just because it doesn't work out doesn't mean you're exploring. Just to kind of put that out there.
And to take it as a learning experience.
Right.
Like it's always, I feel like, experiences happen, and if you don't learn from them, then it's a wasted experience.
Right.
Yeah. We have to take some pressure off of I'm dating this person, that means I have to marry them.
Right.
You're just really trying to answer the question if you can marry them. And to, date with caution, date with guidance, with mentors looking out for us. And, above all that, really praying for God's will, praying for Him to show you this is the person for you or not. Well, thank you guys for answering, all these questions and having this discussion. I really enjoyed it. And we'll see you on the next episode.